Many of the people ask me why why it is in the mid of the week. Why don't you make it on a Saturday or Sunday or maybe some other time? It's a very tough time for us to join. It seems to be very tough thing. So then we said that it is a time that we can plan for to relook into our professions. Taking time for this and seriously investing some time and effort into this will yield better results than in a very relaxed way that we are learning about it. So we thought and strategically it has been kept on the mid of the week, that to 7:30 to 8:30. Because beyond 8:30, it becomes too late for the people. Early, is a very tough time for the people to manage the office. So 7:30 is a comfortable time. People who are getting late, they can join from their offices. People who reach to home, they can obviously they can listen from here. And people who are still traveling, some here and there is there for 10 minutes and other things, and people can attend from mobile. That is the idea that we have taken, and we started this. So that's where it's been. This is the fourth session that we are conducting. Right? Am I audible to all of you? Or do you want me to increase my voice?
No, audible.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Right. My colleagues from the technical team will take the charge of letting people in, and any technical issues are there, they will sort out. So let's begin the session. Namaste and welcome to HR Satsang. HR Satsang is a signature initiative by NRich HCM Solutions. And this is a real reflection space. That is what we envisioned, where HR professionals who aspire for excellence, meaningful recognitions, and truly rewarding career in the human resources. So that's where HR Satsang has taken as a reflection platform, and it is a space. So generally what happens is the daily pressures of hiring of the numbers, compliance checks and policy rollouts. And we often forget to pause and reflect, because there is no HR friend who can speak to us in a way. So HR Satsang has taken a such kind of a role, and it took that sacred pause. Brother, just wait. And this is where we have to see, and we have to involve, and we have to understand the things and all. So it is not another webinar or another session kind of thing. Though we are calling it as a session, it is a satsang, right? So we are going to have that kind of a conscious gathering of rediscovering about HR, the real soul of HR. So what we believe at NRich is it doesn't just need people. I mean, we don't believe that we just don't need people. They need a vibrant, productive, and engaged human assets that are required for every organization. And that transformation, people need to be vibrant, people need to be productive, people need to be engaged. That is what we would like to collectively, we need to do that in our organizations. That's where our HR aspect will be there. So the transformation begins with the empowerment to the HR professionals, right? Both clarity and consciousness must be there when we are leading in HR, basically. So through HR Satsang, what we would like to do is we would like to bring together the different kinds of voices from different across industries to reflect, learn, and evolve. Right? Not just only taking up the skill, right? But in the spirit also, in the spirit of HR also, that we would like to take it up. This shared journey is really helping many of the people building the future ready HR community. Previously, we used to conduct offline sessions, HR Satsang offline. That is physically we used to present in every Sunday, a midday time actually. So 3:30 to 4:30 that we met for a coffee, evening, informal chai pe charsha, that we used to meet, and all the veterans and youngsters also from HR fraternity, they used to come, and we used to have a roundtable, HR roundtable kind of thing. Now we made it online after the COVID, right? So let's begin this HR Satsang, and I humbly request all of you to have an open mind, have an open heart, and have a shared heart. I mean, shared intent to grow the the tasks. Make it a more thoughtful impact, and all of your participants very effectively that you can give, right? Great. So this is about HR Satsang. Before we invite our guest speaker today, let us try to reflect on the today's topic, whatever that we have taken it up. So we are thinking that it is beyond uh, the name or the title of HR business partner. We are calling it as, right. So that is the topic that we have taken it up. Let us try to understand today's what is the spirit of today's HR Satsang is. So let me ask you to throw some kind of a light into the things is, what is the truly definition? What is the true definition of HR business partner? Right? Is it a designation or is it a mindset? Right? So are we partnering with the business? That what is that means? Or just we are making it as a another positioning kind of a things. We are just changing on one kind of a title or what? Are we ready to move to be reactive fixers or proactive enablers in the organization's growth? Right. Let us truly see that what is the perspective of it, what is the scope of it. So across industries, what happened today is HR business partner has become a buzzword and people are using it left, right, and center. If you see LinkedIn biographies, if you see the job postings, where you can see the visiting cards or wherever that you can see, you are often listening about that HR business partner, HR business partner. So is it many of the cases what is happening is HR business people partners are still they are doing the operational activities, traditional HR operations, and they are managing the attendance, they are processing the grievances, and they are chasing the paperwork, rule book, or whatever you can say, right? Without understanding the whatever, without sitting at this strategy table also. So that's how people are using this HR business partner word. And this growing disconnect is very dangerous because there's a lot of AI and a new technology and a new way of things have came into picture. And that is the dynamics or the dynamism is too fast. So in the era of this kind of a dynamics, actually, it not only dilutes the value of HR business partner model, but it is confuses a lot of expectations. So I don't know what exactly that I'm supposed to do as a HR business partner. So more professionals are stepping into even without having a complete understanding about this, and people are stepping into this role and they are trying to meet the expectations and the outcomes of it. Even companies doesn't know. Even the people who are holding that particular position, they also don't know. Much of the people don't know. Right. So in this particular disconnection part of it, let us call for a clarity. Right? It is time for us to reflect and realign with the HR business partner role and what is it truly intended to be. So what we'll do is we'll try to explore what is the HR business partner, what is the distinction between the HR business partner and the HR journalist or HR operations role, and what are the mindsets that we need to have to be as a HR business partner more impactfully, and most importantly, how we think and lead, if at all we want to be like a partner, the word partner, right? So today's topic is not just relevant, it is very critical for every one of us. So organizations are building agile people strategies, people are HR professionals are preparing for the future of the work and everything, but without understanding, without having the clarity, we cannot move forward. Right. So that's where we thought that we would like to have this kind of a journey, reflection and clarity towards this. Right. I privileged and we are very much privileged to have with us Miss Anila Kalyani. So someone who is not just only carrying the title of HR business partner, but she lived the role of that HR business partner role very truly. So let us, for a powerful conversation, we will, invite Anila Kalyani. And before we move forward, let me give you some introduction about Madam Anila Kalyani. She's a distinguished guest for today's HR Satsang. Ms. Anila Kalyani, she is a seasoned HR professional and passionate advocate about transforming HR from functional HR operational part of it to true business enabler. So with over 15 years of progressive experience across different reputed organizations, she journeyed through various HR verticals, and from the talent management to employee relations and learning and development to organization design, and finally found herself calling into driving the HR business partnering excellence. So it's not only just a partnering, HR business partnering only. She's driving towards excellence in that particular role. So she's currently part of the leadership HR team in our company. That is the Macau, and where she plays a pivot role in the aligning the people strategy with the business outcomes. That is what is HR business partner is. So her focus lies in the developing HR strategies, interventions, building strong stakeholder management, stakeholder relationships, and equipping the line managers with the right mindset, with the people managing, leading the people effectively. So that the dimensions have been shift has been completely came, and it is completely different, right? So she's a wonderful having a excellent ability to speak both the language of the people and the language of the business. That is what is required for HRBPs, right? They're not the and she believes truly that HR business partners are not just only the advisors, but the culture of custodians, culture custodians, and change influencers, and the balancing the both empathy and business acumen also. These are the traits that are required for that. So let us welcome our distinguished guest, Ms. Anila Kalyani. Madam, thank you so much for honoring this particular HR Satsang today. And please share your valuable insights as well as your experience also. We'll take it as an interactive mode. And I have taken up some kind of after once you give your brief, first words, then I'll take it forward, right? So over to Kalyani here, please.
Thank you, Mr. Ram. That was quite an elaborate one for me. Good evening, everyone. I'm quite excited to be part of this session today. Looking forward to sharing my perspective and my experiences, and with such a dynamic and forward-thinking HR community that NRich has formed. So quite excited.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. So friends, actually, we would like to take this as an interaction. So basically, this is to bring in a lot of clarity towards whatever the HR business partner aspect is there, right? So first of all, let us try to understand, Madam, what is truly the definition of HR business partner? Though we know hodgepodge, we would like to know it very clearly from you.
Sure. I think that's the right question to begin with. And if you see, HR and HRBP has been constantly evolving. And but because we have to give it a definition, and it's good to have that clarity, I would define HRBP role as a role which would drive and accelerate business impact. And how do we do it? We constantly have to have our talent strategy aligned to the business goals. As long as there is alignment between these two things, I think a true business HR partner is born. And if you recollect, some years ago, HR was called a support function. Even now, in many organizations, it is still categorized under the support functions if you look at the org chart, but it's slowly fading. And there was a time HR function, HRBPs were called enablers. And I would say we have gone beyond being just enablers. And if I have to give a right phrase, I will say they are, or we are, strategic influencers. And what do we influence? We influence our business leaders in taking the right, informed, forward looking decisions when it comes to workforce. Help them navigate through business challenges by, again, the same thing, helping them take the right informed decisions, which means BPHR is not just one who will react to the talent issues. There's issue, we come up with a solution, is a very operational way of looking at our role for BP also. It has to go beyond it, which only means that HRBP has to provide proactively long-term sustainable talent solutions. That's how I would define it.
That's really wonderful, actually. So this is the way that we need to look at friends, actually. They will drive and accelerate the business, and they are the strategic enablers. Though we are having the operational excellence, Along with that, there is a strategic enablement is also very important. Rather being reactive, most of the HR roles are related to the reactive kind of, the functioning will be there, which needs to be very much proactive. That is the essence that Madam Kalyani has given to us. That's really wonderful, Madam. And friends, actually, if you want to make a note of it, please make a note. Please keep your pen and paper with you so that you can note down the points. As well, we can give you this a recording of this particular session in our YouTube. You can find it in a day or two. That will be there. And if you have any questions are there, please put it across in the chat. Any question that you would like to ask Madam Kalyani, you can put it across the chat so that meantime we can also ask her. In between, we can also ask her those questions. Madam, going to the second one. So how do we, yes, you have given some kind of a brief that it is something different from HR to HR business partner. So I just want to ask you, and distinguishing between the HR business partner and the person who is taking care of the HR operations with a new title. So what is the difference between the people just changing the name as HR business partner and the true, what is the HR business partner will do? What is the difference that is there? Can you please elaborate on that?
So if I've got your question right, so you're saying what is the difference between a regular HR generalist role or an operations versus HRBP?
Yes,
Okay.
it's
So
some
as the name
idea.
itself, yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead.
As the name suggests, operations is a very confined role. I'm not trying to belittle any role here, but operations is a very confined role where it is all about adherence, all about processes, all about operations. And if you are given certain compliance, you're adhering to it, your job is done. Met expectations, you've done a decent job. But BPHR has wider horizons, which means that they cannot just stick to uh, uh, meet expectations because they have to know the bigger picture. They have to understand the impact of their work on business. We started off saying aligning talent strategy to business goals, bringing in that impact on business. So it's very important that we begin from the bigger picture of business, understand how is my role as a BPHR having an impact on business. And from there, strategize and from there, execute those strategies. So the scope for BPHR is much wider. Having said that, it does not mean someone who's doing a typical operations role has to confine himself or herself only to the set of tasks given. They can also, or in fact, should know how they can enhance, understand the bigger picture. This shift in mindset, no matter in which function you are in HR, you're in payroll, you're in operations, you're in BPHR, having that mindset to see how am I contributing? How am I creating impact? If you're able to think on those lines, I think value addition in pockets will happen even if you are in operations role. So that's the driving or the takeaway, I would say, from the gist of what I've spoken.
Yeah, yeah. These days the business dynamics have been changed, and people are working like a strategic business units, and companies have been segregated into every branch, every unit or every plant is need to sustain on its own. So where the that particular unit needs to earn to sustain itself. So people who are there as a HR, so how many people that we require, how much of the salaries that are going out, what is the profit and loss. So all these things, they are also into that particular HR business partner role. People who are in the HR, they are demanded actually to undergo along with the people skills, try to understand the business segment. That is wonderful value addition that you have given. Understanding the big picture, having that kind of a business acumen, understand the financial aspects also, impacts or implications also that you need to understand, not just going by the rule book or maybe the compliance related, adhering to the regular compliance part of it. Beyond that, you need to understand the business. Beyond that, you need to understand the finances. Beyond that, you need to see to that whether this is viable for us or not, along with the other business stakeholders. So that is what you want us to understand, that a bigger and wider picture You mean to say that. So that's how I think business partnering into HR person partnering into business has evolved like that, I think. Right, madam? I think that is the way that it has been seen.
Absolutely. So every HR BP, if you look at, they don't work in isolation like the center of excellence departments. They are always tagged to a business unit. The same thing that you said, because you got to partner with someone to show results, and that's your business leaders that you're doing. So you're as good as the business leader, but supporting from the workforce dimension.
Very. So when we talk about this, so most of the people still would have a lot of confusion related that many organizations are having. They're misusing this word HR business partner in the roles basically. So I have seen, as I told you in the introduction, also topic introduction. So people are putting across as a HR business partner role. People are talking about in their LinkedIn bios. They are putting across. They are also mentioning in their CVs. They are mentioning in their companies are also giving in the job posting. So people are using left, right, center about this particular role. Still, companies are, I feel, and many of our friends also felt that it is misused. I'll tell you why I'm saying so. Because these questions, whatever that I'm asking you, is not just I didn't prepare or my questions or something else. Because these things we are running a HR help desk since last 9 years, and many people have seen the shift from 2016 onwards that they have seen that they're seeing the HR NHCM solutions, and people are asking different kinds of questions. So our HR help desk collects all the questions, and we are making a repository of those things, and we are answering when there is a chance comes. Actually, we are answering them through our HR help desk. So wherever we collected this kind of questions related to HR business partner, this has come basically. So all these questions were being compiled and kept in a sequence. My team has worked, my R&D team has worked, and they kept it in a sequence. And those questions that we are asking. So from that, the third one that we would like to ask you about this is why many organizations are misusing this word HRBP role, whether they didn't understood, or what exactly why this is happening in the society actually.
Okay, so my thoughts on this are, I don't believe that any organization deliberately would want to misuse. Perhaps it could more be a case of misinterpretation or a very commonly used terminology in the industry would have been picked up, because if you want to attract talent, you will have to go with the industry trends. And if the industry is all talking about HRPP and it's BP, and it sounds like an elevated title, it's easy to pick up and emulate it on your JDs. Just do a copy paste. So it could be more of that lack of clarity that they have on what does a real HRBP do versus the bunch of other roles we have in the HR function. Secondly, organizations or sometimes maybe startups, if they do not sufficiently invest that time in defining the role, defining the responsibility, and more importantly, defining the expectations from the role. If this is not done, and just a copy paste of some JD available on the internet is picked up and used, that's where all of this unknowingly misusing begins and leads to super confusion. That's how I would decode this as.
Yeah, you truly depicted the picture actually. So there is a lot of missing out clarity and having a lot of confusion added to that. That's where it is coming as a misinterpretation of the people, and they're using this word as a the next level of the career. So that's where people would come and they will get attracted and they can join with us, and that seems to be a beautiful fancy word like business
Yes.
partner kind of things. And then probably people might be using it. Even
Hmm.
I checked with when we are doing the consulting work with many of the clients that we work with. So people used to use that term HRBP. So I curiously I used to ask them what is there in the business partnering role because of your thinking. So what is that you think when you are making it out? All have misused that word because they don't know the scope of it. Then we
Yes.
told them that this is what is the scope of the work. and this is what is the job role. Yes, as you rightly said, they didn't work. They didn't do the homework properly for the job role definition clearly, and people are using it in the fancy word, just like a jargon that people are using it.
And if
That's
you
the first.
recollect, Mr. Ram, it was also like some time back you would have heard things like, I have got a HR job. It's core HR. So core HR was the jargon for some time. Then they said HR generalist. Then they added more meaning to it, and that's how HRBP has taken the title has taken birth.
Correct, correct, correct. I truly understand that evolution which is happening, but
Hmm.
people are changing it and people are getting often confused and people don't know what exactly is this, because HR business partner is something completely different compared to HR operations, a core HR journalist, or whatever whatever name that we can give it to. But HR business partner is
Yes.
something completely different altogether, a different dimension it works in, and it has a lot of impact and value is there. So that's where we are in the discussion today, to understand that in a better. So I would ask you one more question, madam. So what is the advice that you would like to give it to people who wants to step into this particular HRBP role to avoid this kind of a confusion?
I think the best thing to do when any time, anywhere, anyone is in confusion is to seek clarity, because clarity can diminish confusion. And how does one procure that clarity? Is go beyond the title when you're given an offer with a new organization, or it's a transition within the organization. Go beyond the title, ask more questions, read the JD thoroughly. Sometimes the JD may also be vague and may not capture all the important aspects. So go one step beyond, ask for what are the KPIs, key performance indicators, because that rightly will tell you on what basis will your performance be measured once you pick up that role. And it there all the clarity on whether it's ops role or HRBP would all be evident and come to surface. Also, one more interesting question that you could check on is how is the whole HR function structured in that company? If they already have a HR operations department, then you have a lot of clarity. What are you going to do if you're given a BPHR role? Or if they also call it shared services, if there is a department like that. So get to know of the structure that's existing, which should again, fade away few of the questions that you may have. Um, and I would also come up with one more solution when you want to check on what does the role have. And the role may also have operations. Not necessarily every company will have different operations departments. In some places, BPHR does some portion of operations also. You cannot totally remove it. That's where you should ask the questions on what proportion of your work is operations, which will give you clarity. So typically, if I can use my hands and explain it, if it is in a triangle mode where the base is operations, above that is compliance, above that is consultation, planning, and strategic is the top part of the pyramid, then you know what your role is. Majority of it is operations, right? So get that information from them. If the role is more like in a diamond shape, where at the bottom it's operations, compliance, and the middle part is consulting. That's what BPHR does most of the time, solves problems. And above that again is a bit of planning, a bit of strategic. The whole diamond is well encapsulated. You know you're in the right BPHR role. So perhaps you could use this tip when you're getting such offers into BPHR role and you do not have clarity on what does the role have for me.
Correct. That's really wonderful, actually, to understand, having understanding the KPIs about the, to avoid this confusion. Any of the HR business professionals, partner, HRBP professionals need to understand before stepping into this role. Try to understand what are the KPIs, what are the key performance indicators that are there, what is expected out of them very clearly. That needs to be understood perfectly so that we can step into it. Many of the people will have a habit of just seeing the very top level, very superficial understanding of the job descriptions, and people used to say that it is always a HR. So I'm into core HR, so let me apply for. So it is not that everybody or anybody can apply for this particular thing. Is not a right kind of a suggestion. That is what we can say about. Thank you, Kalyani. And we have some chat questions are there in the chat messages are there. So Monica asked the first question that she asked about, okay, ma'am, can you please share me an example where the HRBP involvement directly influences the business outcomes. So HRBP involvement directly influencing the business outcome. That's what she wants to know. So any quick answer?
Um, one incident I can recollect where we had a direct impact on business in one of the firms that I was working in. It was an IT firm, and we had backed a big project which involved a very recently launched or technology that had just entered market, and it was a very prestigious project for us. And that was a challenge thrown to us, and we did not have enough time to also go look out if the people with that skill and then hire. Actually, that's a business problem. If you want to think like that's a business problem, we will go ahead with our hiring. It may take 5 weeks, 6 weeks for people to be onboarded. But when you partner directly, that's when you step into the shoes of the business leaders and start behaving like one, and you solutionize it where you say, hey, okay, I'm an IT company. I have a pool waiting, which is like bench. I pick up top talent from there who have good grades from the last two, grades meaning their ratings from the last two cycles. Coordinate with the learning and development team, understand who have good learnability, what kind of courses they have already internally or externally done and are registered, and come up with a certification course for them, have a robust training, have the leaders talk and sell this to these people because it's going to be a shift in their technology, and it's not an easy thing to convince people to move their move them from one technology to another. Have the leaders talk, take their mind, sell it, introduce some incentives like bonus, etc., and introduce a very sophisticated approach of having a certification, not just pick up people, train and deploy. It's a prestigious project. We have a certification, and then we deployed it, did whole of this in 4 weeks. So in 6 to 8 weeks, which we were not sure if we will get people or not, the project was onboarded. So that's the business impact. If it is direct, yes, it is direct. If you look at it indirect, it is indirect. But that's the value addition that we could do as BPHR, just to cite an example.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think Monica and all other friends also. So this is the HR business partner can do. So normal HR recruitment can happen just like that. But whereas HR business partner is looking at the project needs to be safeguarded, right time the people need to be onboarded, and looking out and searching out for the such kind of a niche skills and making the people to go for that. So they did some kind of a jugaad, and they immediately did some kind of a homework on that, and they planned and strategized something so that whatever that happens normally, generic placement also will take 6 to 8 weeks, and they did it in a half a time. That is, in 4 weeks they could bring the people into, and after having that kind of a training also, convincing people from technology to another technology and helping them actually to get trained on that particular skill and deploying them onto the project, safeguarding that particular project, and ensuring that the project revenues are to be taken up on the time. So this is the direct involvement of the HR business partner, wherein this kind of a decision making, this kind of a insightful, informed decisions, normal HR person cannot make, because he needs to go to every pillar to post and to convince everybody and to make these things. So this is what is the importance of the prominence, and that kind of a look or the authority will be given by the organization, and people also will behave to the text. So that is what is the direct involvement of the HR business partner will be. I think I think I brought in that those things very clearly, Monica, right? Did you got that? Hope so. Right. Another question is there, Kalyani garu. We'll go to our normal, some other points are there. But here, Sai Vinith Kumar Gaud has asked one question is, hi Kalyani, Vinith here, I have a question. With increasing digital transformation, AI, generative AI, and data-driven decision making in organization, how do you see the role of HR business partner evolving over the next 5 to 10 years? I think my question was hijacked by Vineet, I think. So my list of questions is already there. Many people have asked us on this same grounds actually. I think Vineet will come up to that a little later. Kalyani will answer that particular question. And we'll move on to another thing that Nikhil, so far, we have some more questions are also there, but I'll go to up to Nikhil. So before HR business partner, even ERM, that is employee relations management, I think ERM was also used in many of the organizations. Yeah, you can say so. That's a statement actually. Yes, we agree for that. Yes, true. That is also there. That people used to use different kinds of words actually. Employee relation. People are using a different kinds of coined words for HR many a times. Great. So we'll move to the further questions maybe after some, let us try to go for some more questions, Kalyani. So the real-time challenges. Let us try to understand. One fantastic answer that is a question is there. Already Maunika has asked about the same thing almost. So it is the what are the real-time challenges of HR business partner would be, so that we can understand the what is the HR business partner is all about. So what are the challenges that these people will face? Maybe one or two examples from your experience.
The challenges are plenty. Anything to deal with people isn't an easy thing, because people are a bunch of experiences, their past experiences, their emotions, their maturity level. So they just don't carry their degrees and skills with them. They carry a invisible set of the softer aspects, but very, very powerful aspects which they bring to work. And when that happens, it's not an easy thing, because not everybody has, if one person is Pega certified, Pega being a technology, and another person is also Pega certified, it doesn't mean both of them are equal to deal with. So that's the biggest challenge I see as BPHR on the ground, because you're only dealing with people. But at a strategic level, no matter how much you make effort, one thing that I see in many organizations, I have been fortunate to work in companies where HR was respected, was seen, had a place. HR is still not seen as a strategic partner. So, a lot of times when you join a company, or even when I'm consulting and start working with a client, to get that buy-in from the client that yes, I'm going to add value, till I build the rapport and prove my worth till the first milestone achieved, it's hard. So that's the real challenge I have personally faced as a HR professional. But otherwise, I think there are a lot of people challenges working with people, mentoring people, convincing people, or as simple as you're sitting in a retention discussion. Somebody's got a better offer with 100% hike. By no means you can give them 100% hike, because that's, even if you have the budgets, that's not a right practice you want to introduce as HR. So how do you sit through, talk, understand, get deep into that person's case and mold him back to retention for good? There's no deceiving anybody in the process. It's a win-win thing, of course. So those are the challenges as HRBP I have always faced when it comes to people getting into each case is different, each the formula you apply is different, it can't be copy pasted. So that makes it interesting, also that makes the role interesting, and that's the biggest challenge. To talk about any experiences, uh, I can think of one instance. This is again at a very minor level that the change was brought in. There was a policy that was brought into the company, which was a very pro-employee policy of paternity leave. You know that paternity leave is not mandated by the law, but still, to keep our employees happy, pro-employee policy was brought in. But it had a certain clause in it that one has to avail within 3 days and all of it. And it was a massive company that I was working with, more than 1 lakh employees across the globe. Changing a policy means a huge thing. You don't even know whom you should write to get the policy changed, because policy makers are sitting somewhere, and that's the kind of with 300-400 HR people that you're working. So when I communicated that there's a new policy, and you go gaga over it, you communicate, and then you start getting it's backfiring in a different way. The intent was good, but it's not serving the people. That's when you go into their shoes, you have empathy, you make a case of it, take it up, come up with a solution, not just go with a problem that people are not liking it. Then what should you do? What laws should be changed? How do you change so that business is not impacted? That kind of a case to be made, sent it to the right officials. It would have taken nothing less than 6 months for this whole simple clause to be changed. But I can very proudly say I was instrumental in getting that done. And it may just sound like one of the operational things, but an impact in an employee's life when they are blessed with a baby and availing paternity leave, which is available with the company, bringing those two things, I think, was the biggest win.
Correct. Exactly. So there is wonderful examples that you have taken. Always, one point that you have mentioned is very clear that employee conflicts or employee relations related to the people management is always a challenge. Every day in day out is a much bigger challenge for us. It is nothing different from the operational point of view or implementing certain challenges or whatever that are coming into. But there is, as Kalyani said, it is about 1 lakh people. There is a change in the entire, the policy making, which is impacting a lot of lives, and we don't know how we are making those things or what kind of a turbulence it will bring in, we don't know much about it. So that is a real challenge that we can say. But HR business partners, of course, not every time that they need to go through this, the magnanimous size every time, but depends on the size of the organization. The depth of the problem would be the same thing. People management is always a challenge. And one more thing that I have seen one of the Shubhangi's question, and wherein how do you solve as a HRBP about the employee relations and conflict? Yes, as we are discussing the same thing. So employee relations and conflict is always a challenging for every HR person. So PM Rao has answered for this. Thank you so much, PM Rao. I address the conflicts by listening objectively, facilitating the fair dialogue, and ensuring the resolution through policy, empathy, and follow. Yes, absolutely. That is the way that we take it up through persuasion, understanding the things, and empathy that we can go for that, and we move forward for that. Right. So, could you please explain some of the examples of uh, challenges you have taken it up? Those things that also PM Rao has mentioned in the chat box, please go to that. Uh, right. So, some more things. Yes. Again, Monica asked about AI started affecting the HR department. So HR layoffs are happening due to AI agents, and AI is used for HR. Can you throw a light towards that? Okay. So I think, Monica, this question is something is a different to our topic today, because AI in HR is a separate topic that we can take up. But right now we are at a very primitive stage of understanding what is the role of HR business partner. Then we can talk about AI related dynamics also, maybe fag end of the things that we can go through, because the similar kind of a question that was been asked by Mr. Vineet, which we will answer for that. And after 5 years, how it is going to be look like. So maybe that space, Kalyani ma'am, when she can answer for that. So, ma'am, I'm moving forward. So, one of the real-time challenges, as you, of course, you already mentioned, and one of your examples you mentioned about that, how to influence the leadership in terms of being a HR a business partner. How do you convince your, not convince, I can say, influence your leadership team for a difficult people-related decisions and all. So that's, of course, you answered already that, you will try to gain the confidence of the people. So once again, if you can throw some light onto that, how do we influence as a HR business partner? Because most of the challenge that comes from the management is management doesn't want to listen HR.
Hmm.
It wants to put across its own commandments, and we need to follow at any cost. So many of times we have a lot of ideas, a lot of enthusiastic ideas, new, modern practical ways where things were being already proven in the other companies in the market. But still, our company management doesn't want to take over those things, and they won't permit HR people to, implement those kind of things. In that scenario, HR business partner, how come they influence the leadership? I think many of the people are having this kind of question.
So I would say data, data, and data. When you're talking to business leaders, use the business language because that's the language they will understand. You go about talking about emotions and feelings, they may not find their place on the table. While it's not that they don't have place, but the larger place is occupied by data. And sometime back it was customer being the king, now it is data being the king. So go well prepared with all the elements of the problem statement and the solution and the impact that it would bring in. If these three things are well defined and well augmented with the data points, there are high chances that business leaders will listen to you. How much they'll approve it is the secondary aspect, but they will at least listen to you. We were just discussing on the insurance example some time back, and this is a very big problem. Even with my clients, I have this. When I write their policy document and when I ask them about insurance, they say, no, 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 don't write about it. We don't want to give because they see it as a cost. Understandable, fair if they are startups or the funding issues, all that is understandable. But bigger challenges when BPHR is not able to take the case in totality to them. Considering the same example, HRBP in such a scenario is expected to first go study what is the average age of their company. What are the competitors doing with this with respect to this policy? And if there are any offers that were rejected or dropped and you have collected the feedback, that's the data that you should be collecting. On what grounds have they rejected? And anywhere, if you see this as the reason, because that's a very important thing. For people after certain age, it's not just money which helps them decide which offer to take. Once you cross certain age, you want to be more secured, you want to be more safe, not just you, but your family, extended family. So other elements also become very important while choosing between the offers. Are there any rejects because of it? Have we lost any business because of it? And if there is any ESAT surveys that you have internally done the last cycle, is there anything that you have procured from that? If not, quickly run. And if there's a hot topic in the company, quickly run the pulse surveys, or during your stay discussions, have you procured any information? So all this data you should be able to gather, put it in a readable format, take it to them with what is the impact that it may create. That's one part to it. Second thing I would say, anywhere there is cash outflow is involved, it isn't an easy decision, and immediate ROI is not seen. It's not an easy decision for business too. So you being the BPHR, understanding your employees problems also can come up with some customized options where you say, okay, uh, employees who are in this grade typically would have crossed certain age, so from this grade onwards we will make this benefit or perk eligible for them, or available for them. Or those who have, or plus those who have spent minimum x number of years, so that you're assuring that you're only doing it to your loyal employees and it is in full faith that you're doing it for the right people and they would continue. So this is the kind of study, a case presentation, impact, and some customization if bringing it across the organization is a big thing. So something like this, if it is done, then there are high chances that leaders will listen to you. Because as Gartner says, high performing HRBPs can improve employee performance by 22% and retention by 24%. And these are not small numbers. And Gartner would not simply say it. So that's the power BPHR has. It's just that we have to unleash that power.
That's correct. That's correct. Really fantastic answer that you have given, Kalyani garu. It is the data, data, data. That is really true. To be successful in the HRBP profession in that particular role, understanding the data, understanding the numbers, understanding the business, understanding the finance, and that is where HRBP role is completely distinguished from the other HR operational roles. This is also very good clarity that we are getting into. That's really nice. So another question is, can you share how do you resolve this situation where finance, HR, and operations are conflicting in the views of headcount planning? I think This is the answer. I think you already gave it, maybe the data. So do your homework and go back to them and convince them to showcase that this is what is the advantage that we are having by having these number of people into it. Probably that is the answer. That's how the homework needs to be done and to be presented to other stakeholders. So I think that is that. If you want to add anything, please, Kalyani, you can please add something to it. This is this
So,
question asked by Rajesh. Rajesh, yes,
so
please.
Rajesh, there's no better way than doing your homework and going. And what are you fighting for, or trying to gain through that? So it depends on what is it that you are having that discrepancy with those departments. So this question is little vague. If there are more details given, perhaps offline over an email, I could come back to you.
That's one. And one more question we got is Shashidhar asked one question is how do we see the HRBP's role in the manufacturing sector?
Okay, interesting. And you would have to excuse me if I am wrongly saying that there's a long way for few of the manufacturing units that I have worked with my limited experience. I wouldn't say I vastly worked with many as BPHR, but when I was doing certain consulting projects and I was interacting with the HR, plant HR there, um, the scope is also defined. The scope is very limited, and their understanding of BPHR somewhere, I think it all goes back to the history of evolution of HR, where it all began with the safety and welfare officer, labor officer. We have come from there, right? So manufacturing is along with those roles which are still required, safety officers and ensuring a check on the compliance with respect to labor. All of that has to be done. Going beyond that has not happened at the rate that it should have happened. So that's one thing that has been my observation too. So I think it's a more of a top-down approach, where if the leadership of such firms quickly work on redefining the roles for HR, plant HR, I think it's really going to be fabulous for them, because they need to get into the groove of the regular HRBP. That's my observation with the limited experience that I have with the manufacturing firms.
That's really great. I think my camera is not working. It's not showing up, I think.
Now we can't see you, Mr. Ram.
No problem.
You're completely vanished.
So I'll try to join from the technically I'll try to join from the another device. Please excuse me for that. And that's right. So let me answer this probably. Yeah, somebody has already given that answer from Lavanya. Can you please take this through? I'll join from another device because my system is giving some throwing some problem, I think.
Yeah, please. So that has been a wonderful session till now, and I have been listening to you since long, and your answers were very much apt, and your experience is being properly reflected in your, points, whatever you are giving as answers for all these people. Definitely, these points are going to help them to think in different kinds of lines, because learning from their own experiences matters a lot, rather than just thinking and having some assumptions and working. That gives a kind of dilemma whether we are going to get a success or not, and how we need to do all these things and all. But coming to this part, yeah,
absolutely, Ms. Lavanya. I think one key thing I would like to re-mention and re-emphasize is any HR would be working in vacuum if they are only stuck to ensuring the recruitment numbers are met, attrition percentage targets are met, PMS is done last cycle, rewards is done 4 times a year, all of that is done, my job is done. If they are in this mindset, they're working in vacuum. They're really not able to go beyond the regular work. The true ability of a BPHR lies in integrating the operational realities from these programs. They should be able to draw inferences, get insights, and integrate them to your talent strategy. And when that happens, that's when they can see the business impact and they're being true to their role.
Absolutely. Because most of this, as we rightly from the beginning itself, whatever we are discussing, like there is no role clarity of HRBP for many of the companies these days. That's where people are very much confused. Even the junior most people are having the title of HRBP, where we don't even imagine how they would be managing the things and what is the expectation of the management over there. So the clarity from the not only from the HRs, and it is from the companies, and also the management should also have a clarity on what they should expect from a HRBP when they are right tagging
True.
that tagline, or maybe hiring some person on the name of HRBP. That's what I mean, we'll be many times speaking in the sessions also, we'll be training them with the same kind of thought process, because that is what more important there. So being a HRBP, you are not just going to log in and log out and do the duty as if you are a employee over there, but you should be an owner, though you might be drawing your salary at the end of the month, but you cannot be a employee over there. So in that aspect, I would like to ask you, like, whenever a HRBP, I mean, Ram already have mentioned that management will not be ready every time to listen to you, right? And even from the people side also, there will be many more issues. Like they don't want to listen to you, whatever you say, and they'll be saying that you are in a biased mode, like you will be very much supportive to the management and all. This kind of image will be there with HR, where they will be I mean, they have to weigh balance between these two. So how you would be maintaining those things? I mean, what kind of communication and all you would be maintaining at that time?
I kind of didn't get the question. Could you just rephrase it?
See, the management would be saying that you will be on the side of people, right?
Huh.
Because
Huh.
whenever you come up with an idea and all, and the people
Okay.
will also be saying the same, like you are
Okay,
on the
yeah, yeah, beautiful. Yeah, yeah. So that's the best part of about HR that I really like, and I've always being BPHR, is that you have to strike a balance between two very important aspects, or I can also call them behavioral competencies. First thing would be the rational mindset,
Mm,
because you are the representative of the company to employees. You are the one who's taking forward the company's vision, mission, values, policies, processes, SOPs, everything. It is through you that it is going to the nth employee. So you need to have a rational mindset. You need to look for logic. You need to sell logic when you are doing that communication. Having said that, it's not a one-way street, right? It's a two-way street. So when you
yeah.
are again talking to employees, understanding their ground challenges, ground level challenges, you need to have empathy, the right proportion of empathy. You can't use the logic here, because it's more to do with their feelings, their comfort level, their satisfactions, how well they are engaged, because these softer aspects are again somewhere um, linked to the productivity, which again talks of numbers, which is again a logical thing for the company. So these two are they may look like they're on the two extremes, but they are interrelated, and balancing those two is what HR would have to do throughout. It's just their discretion to use. If it is going from top down, ask for logic, because if you don't understand why a policy is being introduced, which is perhaps, let's say, more rigid, you need to understand the logic. If you do not understand the logic, there's no way that you can take it forward. Similarly, if you don't know the pain points of employees or the managerial issues,
Mm.
anything that's happening on the ground, if you're not able to connect and relate, there's no way that you can sell it to the management with a solution. So you need to balance it. That's the beauty of it.
Very true, very true. And I absolutely have nailed all the points, because I think audience have got right answers for their dilemma on how a HR has to maintain himself or herself on the floor. So at that time, I would like to add one more, I mean, question to this. Like at times, definitely as a HR BP, also there would be a moment where you have to take a decision whether to continue with the company or not, right? Because there will be situations, right? There you need to take a decision whether I want to continue with this or not. Because as a HRBP, I am standing for the welfare of the company. I'm trying my level best to make all the things happen to the company. And now the thing has come, like my integrity is being questioned, or maybe I'm not being properly recognized or maybe respected on the floor, and I have to take a proper decision over there whether to continue or not. So at that situation, I hope, I mean, there might be some situations definitely. So I hope you, if you can answer I mean, your experiences. Share your.
Sure, Ms. Lavanya. So this is more of a employee problem than a HR problem, because HR is also an employee at the end of the day with additional hats that they wear. So it's more of an employee problem. If anybody works with an organization for money, for the rewards, the recognition to one side, and second thing is they should feel that they are in the right team, they are in the right hands of the reporting manager, the right company which has the right policies, the company is ethical, the company gives back through its CSR. My purpose as an individual, company's purpose as an organization, there is some alignment, if not 100% alignment. There is an alignment. I have trust in the company. All of this, if they are in place, by and large, if they are all like 80%, one continues. In any of this, if there is a dip, it immediately impacts an employee's motivation, productivity, dissatisfaction. And if it is dragged for long, it ultimately leads to burnout and resignation. So, what should an HR do when they face such a situation? My advice, or when I face such a situation, is go to the respective people and talk it out. Where is the burnout? You're not happy with the role? Is there a scope for you to shift? If yes, by when? If no, what is required? Why are they saying no? Is it with respect to compensation? Go with your data points. Why do you think you're paid less? Because this is one thing that I hear very frequently. I feel I'm paid less compared to the market. The standard cliched sentence that I hear. What market are we talking about? Did you do a check? Is it industry specific? Is it location specific that you have done? So go with data points if you're talking about compensation. Where do you think, at what percentile are you tagged? Whereas where you think you should have been given the kind of extraordinary grades you have got. So make a case of it. Go forward with, or if you have issues with people, you can't make a case, but you should then go with what has not gone well with somebody. How do you want to resolve? First, do you want to resolve it? Ideally, you should be. So go speak it out, talk it out, hear them out. If that doesn't work, that's when I would say then look out for options. But otherwise, it's always good to first see if you can solve it at certain levels within the organization, because even the organization does not want to lose people unless there are other involuntary issues. Our organization also doesn't want to lose, so they're also there to hear you out and resolve to the extent possible. Yeah, that would be my advice.
Great, great. That's really wonderful. Am I audible now?
Yes, Ram.
Yep.
Very
Yeah.
much.
Thank you, thank you. So we are came up to an end actually, because there are multiple questions that were left over related to. I mean, I know that every time is a very constrained thing. Whatever is there, whenever HR topics comes to, that's really great. I think there are many questions that are related to AI. And some question is there. Can you please explain and advise on the HRBP in Greenfield Pharma project? And some more questions related to the broader perspective AI involved in HR. As a HR fresher, what is the many other questions that were being given. So I request my technical team to make note of all these things and make it to reach to Kalyani garu. And as well, I just want to announce one thing. Here is we are conducting a 5-day AI in HR with that theme. We are conducting a 5-day workshop. So we'll announce very soon. The dates are almost the dates are also fixed. So our team will announce for that, and let us talk about in detail about the practical impact. What are all the different kinds of AI tools are there? What are the methods that we need to learn about? How to use the AI in that artificial intelligence in our work, daily routine aspects of it. So we are going to talk about that in detail for 5 days, not just 1 day. We're talking in the 5 days, 1 hour, 15 minutes or so. In each session, we are going to talk about each practical aspect on that structured way. So that we'll announce those things, and let us discuss about the AI part in that sessions, those sessions, which is a very elaborative discussions that we can have those things. So if you find interesting about these kind of things, and please follow the HR Satsang our pages and all. So when you have registered, probably you might have got all the links are there. Even again, my team will share across those things. Please follow us on all social media, as well as please follow whenever the workshops that are coming into. That's really great. So I would like to conclude at this point, Kalyani garu, yes, I am also not so much happy to leave this, but still unanswered questions were there. And we must especially thank Mr. P.N. Rao that he is actively participating in the chat and he is answering a lot of questions from his viewpoint. That's really wonderful, P.N. Rao garu. That's really nice. And please, thank you so much. So that is there. We need to appreciate him. And friends who have asked all these questions, Vineet, Maunika, right, Shashi. So many people, Manisha, so many people have asked a lot of questions, and people are very enthusiastically, they participated very well. And as I rightly, I mean, every time that I get the same kind of a point that concluding is always seems to be very tough for us to say that. But I need to say a vote of thanks for this session. Thank you so much, Kalyani garu, with all your expertise and experience in this particular thing. You have given a wonderful answers to our people and gave a lot of insights to our friends basically about the HR business partner role, which is different from the HR operations. And this thing is there, and the title will be misutilized and misrepresented, but it is always advised for the managements as well as people who are applying for also. Please try to understand what exactly the role is, and it is not so as HR operations without demeaning the which one is the better, which one is the good, bad, or something. We are giving the same importance to each one of them. So thank you so much for giving such kind of insights, and definitely this is going to be posted in our YouTube channel, and we are going to have this very soon. We are going to see this again whenever we want to go for more answers that we need to get for them. The remaining answers, whatever were there, that will be answered from our HR help desk. We'll contact the Kalyani garu and get the answers from her, and we'll directly post in our HR round the clock. There is a help desk is there. So through that, we would like to answer these questions, and we'll ensure that each one of your questions will be answered properly. Thank you so much, friends. Having a great evening today, and we had a wonderful time. Thanks for your time, efforts, and everything, questions and everything. And stay connected and stay human, right? So thank you very much. And
Thank you, Mr.
Ram.
Ram. I would like to thank NRich Solutions for giving me this opportunity to interact with the HR fraternity. So, to all our BPHR folks out there, just closing with saying that focus more on improvising employee experience, be more proficient at people analytics, and work towards creating a workforce which is more agile and adaptable. And you're just there. All the best to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We are ending the session right here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ram, one moment. We'll present the certificate to Madam so that all will be there with us.
Yeah. Please. Yes, please.
Just sharing it.
Just wait a second, friends. Just wait for a second.
I'm just sharing it on the screen. Just a moment.
Please do. There is a small guest of honor is there for Kalyani garu. For it is our practice to give certification of honor or appreciation, you can say, about for sparing her time here. And very soon we are going to see her profile in our e-magazine. HR magazine is we are going to come up with from our 10th anniversary celebrations. So beginning the 10th anniversary celebrations, from there we are starting a people management code karke. We are coming up with the e-magazine, so which we are going to publish very soon. In that we are taking some people's profiles also, HR profiles also, that we are going to publish in that. So that's where we can see madam's contact and everything. Email ID will be given. Don't ask for the phone numbers unless you get in touch with her for the LinkedIn part.
Yeah, sure.
So she's always available. She's always available for us to share her insights, her experience, and everything.
Absolutely.
Okay. So Lavanya, is it?
Yeah, one moment, please. I'm just trying to put this in the screen, but it is not getting. Let me share the screen for you all once for a moment so that you can see the certificate, and I'll share that to Madam directly on her inbox. That would be much more easy, it seems. Sorry for this.
You may send across to me so that I can share through my screen.
One moment, please. I think it should be visible now. Yeah.
Yeah, there.
Right, ma'am, congratulations and thank you so much for your valuable time and insights that would been very much helpful
That's
to all
really
of us.
good.
And we appreciate all our audience also on a very hectic working day. They have spared time and been very much active and enthusiastic. That's what gives more boost up for the speakers also. Because we enjoy this a lot in HR Satsang because our participants are always been very much active. They will be always, bombarding with many, many questions where we always find less time. And thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
Yes.
I feel honored to see the certificate of appreciation. Like how you said, I think we should thank all the audience on a working day, sparing time to hear me out. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And let's conclude for the day and have a great time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.